everyone has something to share, in either wisdom, story, or logic. And it's clearly amazing to hear all the differing missing links discovered by people, unique to their own journeys, and in how they have come to discover them. Together, we can help to build a bigger picture for a better future, for a brighter tomorrow. Let's stand united. Let's remove the veils, and let's create a new world together. Are you that missing link? Join Jesse Hale on the Missing Link Talk Show as he helps to unveil the mystery through the unique wisdom and store of others.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody here back to the Missing Link. Today we're excited to talk to, for the fourth time, an international author, film director, producer, and visionary artist. Her genre includes children's books such as The Magical Mist, which empowers children's creativity, romance novels like The Chronicles of MerWorld, about the rise and fall of the divine feminine and sacred sexual alchemy. And her latest book is The Infinite Human, an ascension guide for awakening infinite human beings, starseeds, twin souls, and the co-creators of the infinite new 5D Earth. How are you doing today, Elizabeth Monroy?
I'm so happy to see you again and to be here. I just love talking to you. You're my favorite talk show host.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So how are you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself, for anybody that may be hearing you here for the first time.
Okay, well, you just said a mouthful. So what I'd like to do was say hi to everyone. I'm so glad, you joined me. And but I would like to start with a meditation, okay? Kind of a reset to divine infinite source. So now please only do this if it resonates, okay? If you don't feel like doing it, fine, or if you're driving, you might not want to close your eyes. So, but let's just take a moment to just, relax and kind of just let go of our body and kind of still our mind and take a nice deep breath, breathing in I am. And exhale, peace, 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 and just feel your body just relaxing and just drifting into the chair or bed that so lovingly supports you. Just let it go down, down, down as you take another deep breath, breathing in I am. And exhale, love, love. Love, and feel the love warming your heart. And now let's go even deeper as we take a nice deep belly breath, breathing I am. I am infinite, 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 infinite. And just feel how deliciously wonderful it feels to relax and to start breathing as you feel that infinite spark within your heart of hearts, your cosmic heart. And let's just let that spark, just kind of let it float up out of your crown chakra and just go through all your other identities, because there's so much of you, and let it go up into your soul self, into your Christos self, into your monadic self, into your Rishi self, the first emanation from source as you first entered into this time matrix. And now just feel yourself leaving the universe, this multiverse, this time matrix, and going back to infinite source before you were even entered into this whole time story. You're leaving, going outside of time. You're going outside of space. You're going into the primal womb of the universe, and you're reconnecting with a part of yourself that you left there. And this is the true essence of you. This is the you that is all that is, ever has been, and ever, ever, ever shall be. This is the part of you that is infinite and connected to the infiniteness of source, infinite love. It is that peaceful at one-ment where you just know, and all knowing, that you are one with everything. You rise above all the duality, all the drama, all the trauma of this multiverse. Take a moment to feel how peaceful it is. Just allow those frequencies to run through you. Feel the love. Feel the peace. Feel the unity consciousness of everything. And now just know that we're going to bring that spark back down, down, down into your heart. It is inside your heart because you are divine. It is part of you. It is housed within the temple of your body, of all your bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. It is the divinity. This peaceful unity, this love is always inside of you. And just feel that spark. Feel it spark, that spark of divinity. And take a little piece of it and just exhale it up into the center of your brain and feel it spark, activate your seed atom of your pineal. Okay? And then grab that and just now take another spark and send it down to your root chakra and feel it spark that seed atom there in your coccyx. And one more spark into the point below your navel, your still point. And now you're activated. And feel yourself now resetting, realigning your divine holographic template to divine infinite source. If you so choose, set that intention that you are now realigning, or the true reset, which is the true reset of resetting your holographic divine template in complete and total alignment with divine infinite source. Let that frequency just emanate throughout your bodies, throughout your being. And now very gently ask, if you choose, anything that is not in alignment with divine infinite source to vacate the premises, to leave your divine holographic template, and just feel it sweeping away, sweeping away, sweeping away. And as you set that intention for all the artificial hacking that is gone into your template, all the implants, all the miasma, all the trauma, all the drama, all the distortions to your divine template. Ask that just to leave. And if it is not going to alchemize and align with divine infinite source, ask it to vacate now. And then just imagine a little like tube, you're turning on like a faucet, and you're allowing through your crown chakra just a deluge, a pouring. It might start as a little drip, but it's a flowing of this liquid plasma, pastel rainbow, platinum, silver kind of frequencies that are beautiful, sparkling, cleansing frequencies. And just feel these 12 D frequencies just pouring in through your crown chakra and running throughout your body, throughout your divine template. And as this liquid plasma fills your holographic template, it's pushing out, it's rinsing out, it's clearing out any of these distortions, anything that is blocking you, that is stopping you, but is disrupting the ease of flow of divine infinite source throughout your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. And now just sit with that frequency and know that your healing has just begun. You have set it in action. Know that now your body, you just need to let it happen on divine time, and your body will now reset and realign with divine infinite source. And when you're ready, take a nice deep breath and just come back, come back, come back, come back. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Come back, come back, come back, come back. So I hope that was cleansing, because that's the name of the game, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. Is we're really in a reset. That's what this has all been about. I'm going to talk, you know me, I'm going to talk very fast, okay? And then we can get, and of course, I love questions. If anyone's out there, please ask me questions. But I just like talking to you, because it's all about, we're leaving behind the teacher, spiritual teacher, guru, disciple, nobody. And we're creating a new consciousness renaissance with each thought we think, and everyone has, like you said, a missing link or a piece of the puzzle, and we're all, as we think and as we discuss and as we share, we are co-creating the new earth. So that's kind of the theme too I'd like to talk about, the co-creating the new infinite earth, because that's coming at big time, I think, for many of us. So do you have anything you want to say before I ramble on?
Well, I wanted you to maybe tell us a little bit more about yourself, for anybody that may be hearing you here for the first time, a little bit about your background, education, a little bit about your journey. You're a world traveler now, so maybe talk a little bit about your escapades as of late, because there's obviously new people here since the last time you were here on the Missing Link.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just woo. Okay, so down to earth, 3D earth. Let's see. I have always been very international. I'm American born, and traveled with my husband, a physician, Peter Monroy, all over the United States, setting up like healing centers and kind of integrating a new modality of healing, which is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, which we wrote about in our first book, The Pathway Home. And it's kind of laying the groundwork for the new healer, where, doctors, physicians, health, healers, whatever, aren't healers. They actually assist, people to heal themselves, so bringing the power back to us as owners of this most precious gift that we have, which is our physical vehicle. Otherwise we wouldn't have life, and it's ours. It's ours. It's yours. And then, so we traveled all over the States doing that. And my husband was Cuban, and we lived also all over the world, Guam and Spain and Panama. And I'm getting dizzy just thinking about it. And then I have a degree in teaching. Education's been part of mine. So I wrote one of my first books, a children's book, about how messed up the educational system is, how we need to just unschool. And it was all about education should be the magical mist. It's about empowering the creative sparkle and imagination of children and independent thought and, their creativity, and then helping them uncover their unique gifts and talents. And then I traveled around with books, signings, and did, I've lived a long time. I'm getting younger though. Look, I've never looked so good. I look better than I did when I'm 24. Bioregenesis is real, I tell you. And the Yucatan, I was in the Yucatan. That helped a lot too. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But okay, so then I got a master's in mental health counseling, and so I kind of combined psychotherapy with my intuitive gifts to work with people physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I did that for a long time. And, I do like, readings / psychotherapy. And, I like to do it creative too. So I do it also through sacred pilgrimages and traveling, which I just did one, which was incredible. And then I lost Peter in the physical, which was devastating. And I wrote about that in my book, The Infinite Human. But I recovered, hero's journey. And then during that time, I went to Florence, Italy. I started a film school, the New Consciousness Renaissance, which was about creating conscious films with students from all over the world, because I'm a storyteller, a writer, a filmmaker. And then before the pandemic, I kind of knew something was happening. So I moved down here to Sicily, where I'm coming to you from now, and kind of getting into, actually, I want to say, I just work here. So whatever I do because I'm told to do it. So I've been here and kind of getting at the last chapter of my book, The Infinite Human, which is the one I've really tried to get people to read now, because it puts together a hidden history, the whole stuff that's going on and connecting it to the last 2 years that we've been through. And then the solution is the last chapter, and it's about co-creating a new earth, that everything's screwed up, basically. For the first 21 chapters is everything's a mess, and this is why. And then the last chapter is, so we got to do it all different. It's inverted. We have to reinvert it. And we need to start creating communities where we can, live with this reset to source, really. And so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a time where we are resetting everything, because we've been fallen. And this fall goes way back. I mean, we're talking about billions of years we've been falling. So the whole universe matrix has fallen. And now we're resetting, we're realigning, we're going back to source. So everything that is resetting is going to continue and just get better. And everything that's been artificial on the AI timelines, we're going to start seeing fizzle out. So it's real important that you start becoming aware and making your investments, whether it's financially, whether it's with your time, whether you're building. You don't want to build on sand right now. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. But I think, does that explain me enough? Do people get who I am?
Yeah, that's great. We've got Rosalind from our Facebook says, I think I love this lady. And Nicole says, you mentioned about the schools need reformation. I love nature instilled schooling. So you mentioned unschooling, and that's what Angeline has been doing with her kids for the last 19 years, or 16 years, I guess, since they've been kind of into the kind of school system. What's your thoughts on the unschooling and how a lot of kids are going to these public or Catholic schools that are maybe indoctrinating them and not giving them free reign on their creative abilities?
Yes. That's a huge message. And I'll tell you the ultimate thing to do, but of course not everyone can do it. But and I met a lot of people. There's so many mothers that are doing it. It's so wonderful. And I know there's new communities, and I'm talk about Christmas with Sasha Stone, and I met a lot of women who have their children down there and they're unschooling. So, we live right now in an extremely toxic world, especially North America. Oh my God, So a lot of people are wanting to get out of the toxicity and get back to harmony with nature, because nature is the reset. Our earth is ascending in frequency. I talk a lot about frequency. And we are reclaiming that unity consciousness, or the law of one, which is about understanding our relationship with nature. That's key. And it's something the Mayans, before they started sacrificing, they got hijacked there, before they started cutting people's hearts out, they would ask, they would have land, and they'd say, what do you, Mother Earth, what do you want from me? Where do you want me to put? When do you want me to plant? Where do you want me to build this? So I think that, first of all, should be our schoolroom. Not only our schoolroom, our homes should be in harmony. Our food, we need to get back out into that, because we've done that. And when you're in something like that, everything around you is a school. So, it's really important to get them out of these toxic environments, because the school systems with all the I'm going to try to keep this clean tonight. So I'm going to talk about being axed Axe and OG high five, because I've had my Facebook page taken down like 4 times, and my YouTube channel, that restrict, strike, you're out. So we're trying to keep it clean because then other people can hear. So, but that's essential to start create, and then they're in this beautiful environment, and it's like a living, learning thing. And then your parents can just be very supportive. And intuitively see where their gifts and talents are. Oh, she loves, natural sciences. Oh, she's good at writing. Oh, she can dance. And then you encourage that. We don't need standardized tests. These are souls. We have been. People call it reincarnation, but there's no time. So we have many identities. I mean, these little people have identities where they're, kings and queens and presidents going on all over. They don't need to learn anything. They need to remember why they came here, because they're the solution to everything around us. They're the ones. So we just need to love them, empower them, and stimulate their gifts and talents and give them space. I think every one of these communities, I was saying, and I like that in Mexico they have it, but where I am, just around the corner, I have an 8,000-year-old Greek. No, actually, it's before Greek. I think it's pre-Atlantis. Temples, and they all have amphitheaters. Just go up to the amphitheater. I took my sacred pilgrimage, up there. You put on masks, everything. And you get the kids out there, and they put on the community makes their own entertainment. You see, we need to extract ourselves from being fed. Oh, I'm going to watch this movie. Oh, I gotta pass this test. Oh, I gotta go to the store and buy what just came off the truck. God, I mean, I'm dramatic, but it's all gotta go. It's all wrong.
You mentioned the technology. How much do you think that is affecting our symbiotic nature with nature? If people are really, and children and people are more staying in their homes, on their phones, on their computers, on their TVs, opposed to going out and experiencing vibrating life and getting out into nature and going for walks and things. How much do you think that has affected society in whole?
Well, I think most of your audience is North Americans. Like when I say North Americans, I mean like above Mexico, like American and Canadian. Okay.
European, Australian, African. We're pretty international, so
Okay,
we've got a wide.
I think North Americans are the worst. Europeans they have an old culture, so they're not as bad. But the United States is the worst, I think, that I've seen. Because like here in Sicily, everything's outside. Okay, everything's outside. Even if they watch television in the summer, they'll watch it out on their terrace, and they'll live on their terrace. And that helped me a lot because I'm not quite as ready to just totally live like out in nature. But our concept of nature, we were programmed to see nature as an inconvenience. Inconvenience. And I brought some Americans over here too. And it's like, everything doesn't, you can't just like push everything and it turns on. I'm like, okay, you can't just push it. We don't have dryers here, for example. I mean, it seems a little small, but they were like, I can't dry anything either. Blow drying. I said, well, it's rainy. You don't wash that day. You don't dry it. You wash, you hang it up. I mean, little things like that. You understand how powerful that is? And yeah, they're still getting the cell phone and stuff, but not near as bad. They have not gone where I thought they were going to go when I was so upset, because they have a relationship. I mean, they get so excited about going out into the woods and picking, like, I don't even know what it is, like asparagus or something. And this old man pulled me over and said, look, I got something for you. It's like, I thought he had gold or something in the bag. He goes, I picked this morning. I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? I mean, I'm such a gringo. I'm such a, American. But I've learned a lot living here, because they know their gold is their olive trees, or, that I have right down here. I'm looking to buy like some hectares with olive trees and orange trees. And everyone is so into it. It's just part of in their genes. But we Americans are not. We go from air conditioned or heated cars into malls, into our office. We come home, whatever. Now people are like, hey Siri or whatever, turn this on. And I have that tendency too. So I'm starting to get over it, and it's healing. You want to heal yourself, be in nature. That is not healing, to be with technology and removed. And I'm not just talking about going out and being in nature and going to the beach and swimming. I'm talking about communicating with Mother Ocean, talking to the Deva spirits. We need to remember that. We knew how to do that.
So do you think that, like you said, the North American society is almost robotic in sense, and that's why maybe people call a lot of people non-player characters, because they're just in this technology bubble, away from their true essence, their true self, and they're just being programmed through the slave mentality of, get up, go to work, do my day, come home, eat dinner, turn on the technology, and kind of away from that true passion, that true essence of
Okay, I'm
where
going to
we're.
take it even higher than that. The reset, divine technology. Okay, we are true crystalla, they say Christ, but crystalline beings. And when we have all 12 strands of our DNA activated, that's like, the stories of the true Yeshua 12, which people call Jesus. But, that's when you can just, turn on the lights, or light a fire, or walk on water, or disappear, and you can flash in and out of source. And that's, we call it miracles or magic, but that's divine technology. Now, we've been downgraded on purpose, so we can't do that. Obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, I have my 12 strands activated. Well, if you have all 12 of them, you could teleport, you could do all these things. And we did do that. This is not a fairy tale, guys. This is what we were before the fall, all right? Now, that's divine technology. Artificial technology was given to us, and it's used by the fallen angelics to hack into our divine hologram, and then to parasite off of us. And now, because we've lost it, we've been given this. It's like they took the gem, they took a diamond away from us, and they gave us a rhinestone. Got it? We're like a cell phone, a divine cell phone. They took our SIM card out, and then they gave us a cell phone. I mean, we were a cell phone, and now they're giving us the bad copy. All right, the archives, bad copy. And not only that, what they're giving us now, and I noticed with you guys are great souls. I mean, there are so many powerful starseeds in the U.S. because I just did a whole book tour. I met so many people. But when I went there, now I'm buzzing because I'm back in Sicily. We've got, high five, but it's not to the extent it is in North America. As soon as I got there, I was like jamming. My pineal was jammed. I was very ill. People were following me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm dying. I almost died, and I was taking infrared sauna every day, but I was surviving, but I didn't carry the higher frequencies. So you got to realize this AI stuff, it might be convenient to have Siri tell you to turn right or left, and they have an app for everything now. So you're always on your phones. You're always linking the algorithms of your brain to these cellular structures, but they're downgrading you. They're taking away your intuitive psychic abilities, Does anybody understand what I just said?
Yeah, of course. So you mentioned that you called us holograms. Could you maybe explain that?
Okay, well, we are holograms. We're divine holograms. We're projections. Okay, I'm talking high, and if you don't get it, that's okay, because you will hear it. Because the truth is, okay, you are so much more than we are, but our consciousness has been poured in this downgraded vehicle. So that's why we don't understand it when we're awake, but when we go to sleep, sometimes we like, oh, I got it, So first emission, there is no time. So the first emission, like, is a projection of sound in a trifold. Three, the source, and then masculine, feminine, mother, father, God, whatever you want to call it. And those create flash sequence, flashing in and out of source. All right. And that creates the illusion of time. And people that whatever die or ascended people, they're here, but they flash in a different sequence, so we can't see them. All right. So back to the question of divine technology. So what it is it's all a hologram. It's all a projection of source wanting to know itself, and it emanates out in these flash sequences that create mathematical equations, that create geometrical patterns, that create the framework of the universe, and that fill out with like uh crystic, like sparkly substances that flesh out into densities. I've been so into this stuff. It's so cool. It's amazing. It's like the true science. Nobody knows high science, but it's all a divine technology that is so amazing. I've been looking at these graphs and charts, and everything comes together so perfect. There's nothing chaotic about it. It's beautiful, it's artistic, it's loving, it's intelligence, and that's all God. But the fallen people have distorted it, and inverted it and made it anti-life, anti-Christ. They've taken our crystal beings and they've turned them into carbon bodies. So they've hacked into our divine, perfect, harmonious giving, taking, feeding directly from source existence, and pulled us out and fed on us parasitically, because they chose to disconnect from source, and they have to hack into our hologram. I don't know if I hope a little bit.
Oh, you make total sense. So
Okay.
I don't know if it's where my brain's at, but I'm following you completely. So
Okay.
I can comprehend everything that you're saying. So what about people that can't, say, leave the cities per se, that are still stuck in these cement jungles with all of the towers, the radiation, we're all frequency and vibration, we're this infinite holographic source, this Christed source that we're trying to get free, but some people, just because of finances or other things, can't get away from these concrete jungles.
I
And
understand that.
how maybe could you possibly speak to some advice you could give people that are looking
Yes.
to break free but are still kind of stuck?
Yes. Okay. If you can't do that right now, there's a reason you're there. Okay, you're the light in the darkest of darkness. And I had to do that for a long time. Now, thank God, I've got another job, but it's just, I just work here, so I did that job for a long time. And you got a job, and you're so important. You're so important because we're all connected. And you're going to be there. You might just be standing in line. You might just turn a corner. You might just stop for a cup of coffee. And one person needed to see you, needed to hear you, needed to have a little bit of hope, because it's tough right now. And everything is resetting. It really is. I was really worried there for a minute, but I felt the reset. It is resetting. So everyone's going back. Everyone's recovering there, unless you're just so stubborn and so self-serving, and you just don't want to. Then you'll go back as like space dust. I mean, but everything goes back to God. It's just is. It came from God. It goes back, and it is resetting the whole multiverse that we're in. So don't worry, your time is coming. But if you're there, there's a lesson for you. There's a reason you're there. Love it. Love it. Love it. Don't resist it. I know it's hard, because I'm like, I hate the cell phone. I hate the airports. I was like, I hate. But try not to do that, because that's resisting. Because you'll find that as soon as you totally love it and accept it and understand the lesson and are there for the people, it'll happen. I mean, you'll like, boom. I literally went from having $1 in my account one day to having $100,000 in my account the next day. Really, I was like this. I was like, oh, I got the money. I'm good to go. But you know what? I was good even before that. I was okay. I just knew I was funded. So when you have got your lessons learned and you're at that place you're supposed to be, then they'll say, okay, upgrade, you're ready to start your assignment. It's like and they want, you're needed. We need people. We need, I say, leaders that create leaders. So don't fret, just do your job, do the best job you can at what you're doing. Be aware from other people, keep working on your own self, clearing out. I didn't do the trauma, but we did a whole thing about the mother wound on Mother's Day, huge thing. So there's always healing to do, I knew it had to be 3 women. So it was me and 2 other women, amazing souls who came from Tennessee. And they flew in and we went on Mother's Day to the island of Mosia, where the Phoenicians 8,000 years ago put this little tiny clay mask on their firstborns that looked like a joker. And they took their babies down and put them in front of a statue of a ball and killed them. Yeah. So we did a lot of clearing inside ourselves, but we also ran crystalline frequencies and cleared out all that the grid work, because every time you spill blood, every time you do sacrifices on a land, it puts it into the land, and it also puts it into the morphic grid, the earth. So we feel it in us. It goes out, it comes back. It keeps this going back and forth, back and forth. So we cleared a lot of that, and we did a lot of work on our own inner childs, because it was also not only killing the firstborn, but it was killing our own inner child. So we did a lot of work with because we have to learn to love our inner child, because that's our feelings, and that tells us if something's off, but we were taught not to trust that. And anyways, I was so tired. I'm finally getting my energy back. But I told the girls, I said, if we do our job, because we're in a trifold. A trifold is the first emanation, and everything spins out from 3, not 2, not dualism. 3, it takes you out of duality, and I used to do the triangle, but you said, don't do that, you're like, but I said, if we do our job right, it's going to spin out and affect the whole planet. And the sign will be that Mount Etna will blow. And sure enough, the day they got on the plane, we spent a week here, they got on the plane the 23rd, the day they got on, Mount Etna erupted. It hadn't erupted for a while. And I said, good job, we did it. Because it's just all that released, all that ancestral miasma. And we changed not only ourselves, but we changed our mothers and grandmothers and any future children. We changed the whole lineage in our line. And I think there's a big shift happening with women now, because we're able to come out of, we've been behind the scenes all the time forever. We really have, guys. It's had to move over and let us fix things, because you got the dark masculine has really messed things up with this patriarchal stuff. And we're coming out with love, nurturing, and strength, but power in the softness, not as women like, Queen Elizabeth or, political women. I think, I'm talking, you put on power shirts and suits and pretend like they're men, we're not going to do that. We're coming out as women, but we're moving into the financial world. We're buying, selling, affecting changes, investing and reclaiming our Mother Earth. That's what we are. That's what the true queen and queens. I put this on when the false queen was crowned, and I said, I always knew, Queen Elizabeth, not a ruler over people, a guardian of Mother Earth. And is what the true Grail lines, the true queen and queens are. And it's time for us to get our Earth back and heal her as rainbow warriors who make her green again, who nurture her, who align with her, who respect her. And that's a job. So I'm really passionate about that.
So in the United States, they've been removing a lot of old monuments, stuff like, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, Ulysses Grant, and all these kind of things. Does that statue, is that ball that you were saying, is that still there? Are they removing those type of of statues,
Well,
or is it?
that statue's not there. I'm just amazed. It was actually allowed to be put up. I mean, that's why I took a picture, because for so long they didn't admit that it was there, but they couldn't. They're not so controlled in Sicily with the money from all the the Rockefeller grants and stuff, where the Sanford and all the universities are in America. So a bunch of the people from one of these public universities, because they don't charge for universities, said, look, we can't deny the fact that there's a burial ground full of infant bones. We can't keep saying they kept having plagues and all the firstborn children died. We're going to have to qualify this. And so they were intellectually honest and they wrote the truth down. But guys, changing history is nothing new. I mean, we don't know our history, so that's why we keep repeating it. We just wear different costumes. We might be wearing Civil War clothes, or we might be wearing togas, but we're doing the same story over and over and over again, but they keep covering it up so we don't know we are. And then we have to keep dying and coming back and doing it, because we have to wake up and remember our identities. That's one of the first clues. In fact, I met a gal today. She just I'm meeting the most wonderful women. This gal from Sweden. She said, "Oh, will you do a reading for me?" I said, I don't want to do readings anymore. It's the old paradigm. I said, I just like to exchange energy, because I'm not there to read you. I said, let's just go to the beach. I took her to the beach, and and we had a lot of fun. But she's when she saw me, she goes, "Oh my God, I know you." Because she did past life regression. She goes, "You were my mother." I said, "Yeah, and you were a little pill then." And and then she was like talking to Peter, and she goes, "Oh, Peter said you're still talking." Because I used to go, I'd like to talk a lot, right? But it was my gift is not to like money to pay someone and they come. It's to meet people like that, because as you awaken, you begin to realize you remember all your lives with each other. And I always remember my lives with people, but I usually can't say anything. But now I can actually talk about it, and we can say, "Oh, remember that?" And we were going through all our lifetimes together and laughing about them, and sharing. I mean, we had interesting conversations. What could be more fulfilling than having a good, interesting conversation about multi-dimensional? And so we need to start waking up, every guys. I want you guys to wake up. I want to talk to you.
Matt from our Facebook is asking, how is it you cleanse the grid from crap like child sacrifice?
Okay, so that's a good question. I think a lot of people, especially spiritual people, because when I did these book signings, I was so much about spiritual consumerism, and so many people were so attached to the old world spirituality. And I'm not even talking about religion. I'm just also talking about New Age religion. So we have all this. Remember, I said there were flash sequences that make up mathematical equations that make up geometrical patterns. Unfortunately, we've been given fallen geometrical patterns that are finite, that cage us. And now we're starting, this is being opened up. We've been like a Rubik cube, closed off from the true Mother God. I don't know if you noticed, but it's been Father, Son, Holy Ghost. What happened to Mother God? We have not had that energy. She's not been able to come to us, or us. The God source words have been closed off we have not been able to receive that. And the architecture is being removed and set up. So we also visited a place in Edici where the scientists who made the atom bomb came, and it's like a secret scientific center, and it's all covered with the Fibonacci. If anyone's familiar with the Fibonacci, okay, that is the spiral of death. It leads you down away from source because it diminishes, and it leads you actually into a black hole, phantom worlds where parasites can feed from you. And it's been part of our architecture, so that even nature has aligned with it, because it's been it's been caging us. And a lot of people walk around, I saw even in Bacalar community, they have it on their Facebook page with these, I call it the bloom of doom, people call it the daisy of death, they call it the flower of life, but it's a cage. It's finite, and all the loops bring you back in. It's like a MOBA strip that keeps you in the finite and keeps you in a fallen matrix. So in the Vescovus Pisces keeps you locked in duality. So there's architecture that's now coming forth, and there's a Crystalla spiral that leads you back to source. And I work with that energy a lot, bringing source through the Crystalla spiral into the earth, running it through me. So I'm buzzing. I haven't slept in days. I wake up every night at 3:00 in the morning, and my body's so tired, but I'm like this, because I've been running these frequencies. And so they clear you, but you're also serving by offering yourself to source. Okay. And then you clear the area by spiraling it out. So that's one of the things. It's just a job I just knew I was supposed to do, but a lot of people do things different ways. I do mine intuitively, and I've run those spirals everywhere, all around the rim of Atlantis. I realized when I just did my journey around the planet, I went all around the outskirts of Atlantis this past year. And that was part of what I also did, was reconnect our Earth now to our true organic timeline, which is going back to Tara, which is 5D Earth, and then on to Gaia, which is 7D Earth, which was before the fall. So everything else, it's like going, Back to the Future. How they went to the future to correct things in the movie. I don't know if anyone saw that. We're going back to the future. We're going to all the AI timelines never were meant to be. So we're actually kind of like resetting, and all that is going to crumble away because it's not real. These things that happened were not real. They weren't real. I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of, it's very sci-fi.
No, I'm following you. So you're on fire. So just keep going.
Okay, good.
Matt's asking, is there a geometric shape or geometric form or shape that isn't tainted, like the Fibonacci sequence or like a Saturn cube?
Yes, that's all the truth. That's the divine hologram that I've been talking about. But they've gone into it and changed it. So and they give us all the fallen stuff. I mean, for example, they call it it's really the tree of death, but it's a Cathara grid, and it's 12, and it corresponds to our 12 strands of DNA. And I'm not prepared to teach right now, but I usually am showing people that, because it's like a skeletal framework that everything is made of. Everything has this grid, and it's 12. But the fallen angelics, what they did is the 12th one, the top one, connects you to source. So when we went to source in the meditation, you go out of the Cathara grid, which is what creates the illusion of time and everything. And it's our universe, it's a blueprint of our universe, of our multiverse. But what they do is it gives you power. So these fallen angelics, they work with it, and they get up to 11.5, but they won't connect it, the last part, because the minute you connect the 12th one, the 12th strand, you surrender yourself to source. You say, source, I serve you. I serve you, divine infinite source. Well, they don't want to do that. They want to be God. They want to serve themselves. They want to serve, so they want all the power. And so what they've done and that's why, people sometimes they think, oh, that's satanic. But what it is satanic, because they take all the power that, the true power, but they invert it. So they use it. That's black magic. There's magic that, and then there's black magic. There's esoteric knowledge. This is forbidden knowledge. And this knowledge is not easy to come by. Everyone that has taught it has been either hijacked in this life or killed. This is what Yeso 12 came and wrote and buried different places. This is what they killed the Essenes. The Templar Knights killed the Cathars. Everyone that has this knowledge is like, boom, you're dead, and they take it and then they invert it. to serve them, and they bastardize it, they corrupt it, so it's interesting stuff though.
So now, what are your thoughts on the ones who have been dark here? Maybe the fallen ones, maybe the 13 bloodlines, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, some of these other families like the Orsinis and all the Brandinis and things. Now, what happens to them? Are they all turning to the light? Are they now transcending? Are they not going to be able to withstand if they're still in their darkness? Like, what happens? Because now that everything is coming to light, what happens to the ones that maybe want to stay in the dark or can't get out of the dark? Is there going to be a battle between the light and the dark, or does the light just transcend so high that the dark can't even touch it?
Oh, there was a battle. We won. I mean, I think everybody felt the battle these last 2 years, but we won. We won. And now they're just being nasty. But I mean, I know to some people that you don't feel like it's won yet because it's got to trickle down. But it was actually it's a really long story. I mean, we're talking trillions of years, and then there was a fall, and it's been falling, but it was allowed to fall because they wanted to experiment to see, if it could correct itself. And there are some multiverses that are fallen, and the only way they can return to source is as space dust. Okay. But this one had a fail-safe program. So many of us that are here, that if you're hearing my voice, and I hope this will wake you up, we came here, volunteered, because we knew we'd get out. We knew no matter how bad it got, and it got really, really bad. It got worse than we even imagined. I think many of us were like, holy smokes, I wish I hadn't volunteered at times, because I'm talking lifetimes. We've been here, many of us, in artificial timelines for millions of years, doing the same thing, losing our memory and being, preyed upon. And we were also, many of us, I just want to get a larger perspective. Many of us were fallen ourselves, but many of us came here to be part of this reset, to create communities in alignment with source, to realign ourselves with source, we are, that's our job now. And don't worry about the fallen angelics, because they can't withstand the light. It's every day, at least where I am now. That's why they're creating all these chemtrails and the 5G to keep the frequency low so they can have a place to stay for a little bit longer. But it's about to blow, really. So don't worry. Everything has to reset. There's no choice now. Now, whether they choose to reset or not, it's all individual. I mean, there are, just look at like people, movies. I mean, there's some people, criminals, hardened criminals, no matter how many chances you give them, right? You see it in movies, you try to help them, and they're like, no. They like stab you. You're like reaching out your hand, and they're like trying to pull them up. I think in Star Trek they did it, and they're like kill you. I mean, there's some people that beings that will never change, and then there's some that have too many reverse polarities. Their body, their divine template has been so reversed with Metatronic reversals and implants and overlays that they can't get, it's too toxic. It's like when your cancer overruns your body and you succumb. I mean, this is like overrunning not just a body, but your template. So you can't reconstruct it, because we're all reconstructing our crystal template now. That's what Ascension is. We're restoring ourselves. But some of them just, they might not be able to return with their memories, because as we return, we remember who we are. We remember all our identities, and we will reunite with our true families that sent us down here to begin with.
Linda, a good friend of ours from the same city that I'm in, she's asking thoughts and insights on Metatron.
Well, fallen angelic. I think he might have been recovered himself, but a lot of what they did was with these you know, remember when we went to Source and we were in that oneness state, you kind of got to, before we entered the Matrix. And when you enter the Matrix, you got to realize it's just like a really good movie, like The Lord of the Rings or something, and we've played all the characters, and some of the most powerful angelic beings came here to help, but they fell. Michael, the house of Michael, now they've been restored. They're like collectives, like Lucifer or Thoth, Inky. Those are families, like mafioso collective families, and they fell. And many of them, I take people here to Sicily, and I go in front of the Godfather where it was filmed, the last thing, and I refer to Michael Corleone, who, if anyone's seen the Godfather, he didn't want to be part of the family. And he said, no, that's my father, Kay. It's not me. I'm not going to be that. And then when his father was laying there, and they were trying to kill him, and he was, crying, he was plugged in, IVs and everything. He said, Dad, I'm with you now. Pop, I'm with you now. Because, it was this love for his father that pulled him in. And then he became, at the end, he killed his brother, his own brother. He lost his wife. His daughter was killed in front of him. It was a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Well, that's kind of what happened to many of us here. We came here to help out, and we got pulled in. So, this whole thing of, they're the satanic, they're bad, they're, well, yeah, we all were. It was just a film. It's just a movie, And so, yeah, Metatronic reversals, they take them, they use their angelics, their DNA or whatever, and reversed it to serve them. And they this forbidden knowledge was just so funny. Nobody knows about it, but you know who knows it so well? All the fallen angelics know it. They know it so well because what they did is they learn it, and then they learn how to abuse it.
Teach it to all the secret societies and all the things.
Societies, and those people don't even know, they're puppets, but they just know, okay, I'm supposed to say this and do that. They don't realize they're actually doing something very scientific, because they're messing with the energy templates. Whenever they do their loosh, there's blood sacrifices, they say their spells reversed. They are feeding this reversals. They're feeding the downward spiral of anti-life, feeding the death cult that is reversing and parasiting off our life force. So it's interesting.
So from what I gathered is that, we all have the light and the dark. We all have the power to heal or to harm. And now is the time where we're kind of finding our true selves, finding that light, finding that healing, finding that, inner power, that inner crystal energy inside of us. And it doesn't matter what the past was or who played what role in what. We're all moving towards a light future. Is that kind of, this crystalline future?
Yeah, it's a choice. I mean, I think most people are choosing it because there's no other place to go. It's like space dust. I mean, it's like, but yeah. And yeah. And, I mean, okay. I mean, that was all okay. I learned a lot, right? You learn a lot from your pain, your suffering, but you also learn, God, it sucks. It's not fun to be, it doesn't feel good to hurt other people. It doesn't feel good to, be disconnected. It doesn't feel good to take. It feels much better to be loving, to be unified. I mean, I think most people are starting to feel that, don't you think? But some aren't,
Some are still stuck for sure.
Diehards, they will never, but free will's a bitch. What do they say? Free will's a bitch.
Matt's got a question. So I'm not sure if you mentioned Tree of Death. He says, is that what they call the Tree of Life in the Kabbalah? Sorry for the 50 questions. I like the flower crown, by the way. Thanks for answering questions. And you don't have to say sorry. The more great questions in the comments, the easier my job is here today to be able to, transfer these questions here. So what's your thoughts on the Tree of
they call it the Tree of Life, but their Tree of Life has, like I said, it's just a a grid work that is the framework for that the universe is built on, and it's 12 strands of DNA. The 12th one connects to source, but they took that out. In fact, they're stargates too. They're everything is a reflection of it. As above, so below. They're in your body. They're outside of your body. The Earth has a Cathara grid that, it's called there's many names, but they called it the Tree of Life, and they put 10. So they stopped the last 2 that connects you to source, because they made themselves God, and they kept everything in their, I say, what's the difference between the infinite in my book, the infinite and the finite? Infinite, everything goes back to source and comes back out. And that's the true infinity sign. It goes to source, comes back, in loops. That's the truth. You feed from source, you feed from the divine. But they severed, what happens when you pluck something from the vine or the divine? You pluck a fruit or something from the vine, what happens? It rots.
No longer has life.
Starts to rot. So they no longer are connected. So they have to feed from parasitically from something outside. So that's what it's all about. They've been victimizer. They've been feeding off of our life force. We've been their slaves to their life force. That's what the whole, everything's about. The banking system, every system has been set up parasitically, and that's, we're returning to source, so we don't have to feed off of each other anymore. We can enjoy each other.
Some people believe that the tree of life is us. It's the nervous system looks like the actual trees of life with all the different branches. If you look at what the skeletal and the nervous system looks like. So, is that disconnect that they've taken that energy of us being the tree of life? They've hijacked those other 2 strands and, limited us. And now it's time for that tree of life to not be the tree of death anymore, to fully branch out into the cosmos and to be free again.
Bingo, that's it. Once we reconnect, then we're all powerful. We feed from source. We are connected to our infinite. Game over. They have no more control over us, which is why they've gone to great lengths to keep us disconnected. I mean, they've moved planets. They've moved Earth. It's not supposed to wobble. When they wobbled us, they took us off of our connections. The astrology is really about us connecting to the higher frequency source worlds that come in and feed us. And they, like a Rubik's cube, it was open and they cut us off. We've been cut off from our source.
Matt says, if they took out the 12th, that explains a lot. There are 10 stages of life, and the 11th is for Elohim or Yahweh. Sounds like the Kabbalists wanted to lead us to a false light. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, well, Yahweh is a false light. And the Elohim, yes, a faction of them fell. And that was, actually, okay, I'm going to say something that's going to really be controversial. But yeah, I love it. Okay, Draconians, everyone's Draconians. Draconians were actually in the universe, part of in this Cathar grid, what we call the 10th Stargate. And the 11th was the Elohim, and then the 12th was, to source. So the original fall started at about, let's say 260 billion years ago, because the Draconians and the Elohim started fighting against each other. And then the Elohim were these Draconians are bothering us, to the 12 Stargates. They said, well, you're not doing so good yourself, because it's kind of interbreeding. They needed to expand. They had been so into themselves for so long. So they started to, they were warring with the Draconians, and then they ended up blowing up the Stargate. And that was when the severing happened. And so half of them fell. And so all the wars we've had on the planet, every war has been bad against maybe worse. It's been between these 2 factions. Every war. everyone in power. So we the angelic humans have just been like here, like, like they've been fighting over us like their food or their genetic pool. But these two, so a lot of the people, they're like, oh, those draconians are so terrible. Well, they're actually the other fallen angelics. They're all warring, and they inhabit parallel universes, and they've been trying to pull our universe into theirs so they can feed off of us. That's what this trauma, it's huge, this trauma. So, things aren't always as they seem. That makes sense.
Yeah, we were all here thinking, well, what happened to thou shall not kill? Like,
Yeah.
isn't that supposed to be like one of the basis of life? Is that
And
we should.
every war is like, in the name of my God. No, in the name of my God. In the name of Jesus. No, in the name of Muhammad. No, it's like, and that now you see how it's starting to make sense, right? Now that we're getting more awareness, it's like, wait a minute, war is not good.
Matt, he's a history buff. He studied the occult knowledge a lot. We had him here on the Missing Link. He says in the Kabbalah, it's blasphemy to mention more or less than 10 Sephiroti, especially mentioning 9 or 11 Sephiroti. Funny, hey? How they like forbid that. It's blasphemy to say anything but 10.
I love that blasphemy word. That blasphemy. I am God. Oh, blasphemy. They got a lot of knowledge off of blasphemy. I just went to, the thing I love about Sicily is it's got ancient history, and I'm setting up these pilgrimages here, and I went right down here in Palermo today to the Stadio. It's this place that was in I think the 12th century, and I went into a room where these people were held prisoner, and they actually took their like blood and their excrements to create paint, and they painted like images of Christ, because this was during the Spanish Inquisition. So they were being held there, they were being tortured to death, they were killed, right in that room. But they drew pictures of themselves, and how ironic it was, they were showing us the parody of they were being tortured by Christians, because the Spaniards were the Christians and they were not, and they were like, wait a minute, we're the true Christians, the Cristalas in there, and these people posing as Christians are, torturing us, and, history. That's been our history.
So, but what in history could have been made up and made us to believe, like you were mentioning the Mayans, and you said that they did all these great things, but then they did the sacrifices. So one of the reasons why I say that is, just to say the modern day native Indians. I was talking to some that, that believe that with 6,000 years ago, 4 or 6,000 years ago is when they used to have warring tribes. But between them, for the last 6,000 years, they believe that there've been peace between. And then they've taught us, oh, these savages, they used to go and tomahawk each other. And a lot of that was made up for us to believe that these were bad savages in order to justify what the colonizers did to them, putting them on reservations and all these things. But a lot of it, from coming from, their perspective, was made up and not true. So, is there a lot of this history telling us about these sacrifices and all, how bad we were, to maybe justify some of these people that were currently in power to say, yes, this is just what we do, we're this warmongering, but maybe a lot of it was just made up to make people believe that this was our history, to justify how horrific some of them, modern day, people, these slave masters are.
Okay, so I love this that you're saying this, because I'm actually, my next newsletter is coming out about his story, and I think I've heard you use that too. His story. I said, no, now it's her story. We're changing it, because the truth is, now, and I'm. Are there any women out there? Women know, we know. it was a matriarch society back. Now we're talking before the fall. We've fallen a lot, but we've gotten up. And I'm just going to say about 26,000 years ago, but it's been more. But there was a point when we were back aligned with the law of one, which is unity consciousness, pre-fall Atlantis, and then Lemuria. Okay, and it was the women on the Council of Mu who saw what was happening with this AI technology. There was a lot of stuff that was hot. We were being hijacked. There was interbreeding with the Anunnaki, the fallen angelics, and everything. But before then, there was a lot of more. The divine feminine was moving. It was love. It was harmony with nature. It was good. It was simple, and it did get hijacked. In that's a true history that we don't know about. We don't have a clue about that because they hid it. Because then when the poles shifted and Lemuria fell, then Atlantis fell, then they covered up. This is all the Tartarian stuff that's coming out from Tara because they've controlled the weather forever. They created mudslides to hide these ancient cities. We have all this. I mean, it's there, but they changed history. They made us think that the Sumerian culture was the first and Enki was the king. That's his story, which, through the grants of Rockefeller and the tenured professors, they all agreed with, and they said, no, they refused to see that the water lines on the pyramids showed them much older, that our Earth, there's fossils here near my home that are 260 million years old. I mean, our planet's old, and before it was Tara, it was much bigger. So his story, is this hiding our true history and then replacing it with a tyrannical male god, the god figures that you sacrifice to. And yes, it did. Those things really did happen because we had the truth, like the Mayans had it, the Native Americans, and there were a lot of bloodlines and a lot of people who kept these sacred documents. For example, when Atlantis fell, a lot of the women, especially, I'm sorry, I'm just doing a lot about women now because we just shifted. Because it's the men that mess up the planet. And my spiritual teacher, who was a sergeant in the military, told me it's the women who are going to fix it. But we knew this was going to happen because you guys got out of hand with you wanted to experiment with the technology and see if the crystals could do this and that and create wormholes and pole shift. But what we did was we took this information I'm giving you, the Emerald records or the forbidden knowledge of true ascension mechanics, our templates, our divine templates, and everything. We took it to England, which was the top of Atlantis and Ireland. That's where a lot of the true Magi bloodlines head. And that's why there's been so much persecution against Irish people and, all that. And then a lot of us took it to Egypt. And here there's a divine feminine temple where I know some of these ancient records were hidden. So we took this information, but it was stomped out. And we didn't know what was real. And then they came in and they killed all the people who still knew or mind controlled us. And Egypt was terrible about that. And then they started infiltrating like the Mayan culture where everyone would just, worship, nature. I mean, they made nature into gods, the rain god and this god. And then the rain god's going to get mad at you if you don't, throw your firstborn down one of those cenotes. The rain god's going to get mad at you if you don't, cut out your heart. And then we started mind controlling people saying, oh, if you want to ascend, you have to sacrifice yourself. So you have these people like they would, like in Mosia, take their firstborn, because, the child's going to ascend. Or you have these, if you've been to Chichen Itza, those ball courts where the winners compete. And when the ones that win, they get to get their heart cut out. So you see, that was all the mind control. So we did do these horrible things to each other, just like we were doing, we were still doing it. But because we thought it was spiritual, You see what I'm saying? And that's his story.
Yeah, and a lot of that I'm not even in alignment with. So that's why I question, and stuff like even in the great holy book, about, God, asking people to sacrifice their firstborns and God, sending bear to maul children and things. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense that that would even be real. Right. And people believe that that's his story. But again, I think it's just a story, to get people believing that, to justify the shitty behavior that's in the world because it was just there. And, so that's kind of why I
Yeah.
don't find alignment with
And,
it.
and the Bible is based on this forbidden knowledge that I've been talking about. And that's why so many people like believe in it, because it has those codings, those frequencies in it. But what they did was they just, same with the Kabbalah, took out those two strands, took out this and that, made, a sacrifice with crucifixion implants, our own inner Christ, and wait for a savior, rather than realizing we are a Christalla being, little tiny things that
Tweaks.
that just make the whole story, hijack everything. Clever people.
Yeah, Angeline's like she read the Bible 5 times from beginning to end. She read it twice in its original text, studied cultures and language was when it was written. And she says it was written in apocalyptic language. So, the language was different. It was written for the people at the time. But then once they started translating and then they started adding grammar and it changed a lot of what the meanings of these things are. And like you said, there's lots of beautiful hidden gems and, hidden, knowledge that's in them, but then they mix it with this bag of good and evil. And so it's just confuses everybody to know that, where their goodness lies. It comes, like you said, from inside of them, and they don't have to have this dark energy inside of them. I think that that's just taught into the consciousness that is, just supposed to be there. I think that was something that was brought in by cutting out these DNAs or whatever it is that they did to change who we are and how we feel and how we believe and how we think. Was all manipulated and, like you said, inverted. They inverted it all for us.
And you have to realize also, most of the gems never even made it into that book. They're up the road underneath the Vatican in 50 miles of hermetically sealed library texts that we saw in the Da Vinci Code when Tom Hanks went in there. And those are probably the things that Yeshua actually wrote down. They went and killed the people, the sacred keepers of them, and took them. And then they said, "Oh, got the secrets. How can we use it for us?" And then they just locked it up. Okay. Never made it into the good book.
Now, how about us living here for longer than our, expiry date? They tell us, we're going to live here to 60, 70, 80. Some people are living to maybe 90, 100. I've always thought I was going to be here to at least 180. I have thought, we can potentially even be here longer. They used to teach in some of his story that people were here for 800 or 1,000 years. Do you think that as we, find our crystalline, our Christ in energy, that light, that ascended energy, do you believe that we can stay here in the physical for longer than, what we currently are now?
We weren't supposed to die. I mean, even the good book that they even left the part about what Methuselah's 800 years and all that. Okay, this vehicle, okay, is very important right now. Not because you want to look, airbrush like Britney Spears or something, but it is the vehicle to attach your 12 strands so you can get out of the matrix. Now we are on the course correction and on 5D Earth and Tara in the future, but we're talking some linear some, again, time's an illusion, but flash sequences, let's just say. I mean, your body does not age, it doesn't decay. It's a silicon based body, and if you want to take it with you, you can. If you want to drop it, and I mean, you're infinite. Here, we're good. It's a freak. I don't know. These frequencies are rising fast. Might be tomorrow we can do that, but supposedly it's going to be maybe more towards 3,000 where we can have that. But I mean, for me, my decision is. I mean, I in Italy we say we have years. We don't say I am. So I really love all the years I have because I feel like I earned them. But if people ask me how old I am, I always say I identify with 33, guys. I'll be 33 forever now, from now on. Okay. And in fact, at the end, they said, "But how old are you really?" I said 33. I mean, I am 33. That's because I'm telling my cells that. And bioregenesis is at hand. And some of the stuff Sasha was talking about. Here we have volcanic waters. I bathed in bacalar, and I feel it. Down there, you're outside of the 5G. There was not OG in there, so I was regenerating. I had my injury, a very serious injury, that I almost died from, and my tendons were starting to heal. I'm still working on that, but it's work in progress. When I bathe in bacalar, I'd be so tired afterwards, but then I'd be like, reset. I mean, because those waters also come up from the inner earth, which the inner earth has, well, it's like the halls of Amenti, but the inner earth is in a line with source. So anything, and of course, water holds frequency first, right? And so those have our 12 DNA blueprint more standard. When you bathe in it, you're bathing in those frequencies that are helping to reset and realign your divine template and clear out the miasma. The only reason you age is because of all these implants. The thing I just said to get out of the system at the beginning of the meditation, the AI implants, we all have implants and reversals and Metatronic reversals. That's what makes you age. You're not supposed to age, and we're getting rid of them. So as you get rid of them, and you can't just do activations. Okay, I really want to say this because there's so many people that are doing activations. Oh, and I have people, oh, please, Elizabeth, can you give me some activations, and I'm like, you've got to go in and do the work. You've got to clear out, got to be there for your inner child. You have to take care of that inner child first. You have to love her. You have to, because if not, I've seen people who have this information and are running frequencies and doing all these hidden activations, but they got possessed. They got hijacked. They got taken off because they didn't do the basic stuff of clearing themselves. They were twin souls and they got split. They got into this betrayal, this jealousy. And when you have that, the frequencies can't come in. It's like trying to put pure water into dirty water. You have to empty the dirty water, and so you can hold, your container can hold the crystalline, pristine, pure water. So you have to do the inner work, guys.
Matt here says Abrahamic religions keep you in fear of punishment and waiting on an external savior. New Age keeps you lulled and dulled, waiting for an ascension process. 1984 versus Brave New World. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah, everything gets hijacked. So they might have had good intentions, but even the New Age, I mean, they have some good stuff in there because they first started people thinking of other identities, chakras, energy, but then it got into like spiritual bliss, bypassing spiritual consumerism, and then waiting for, I followed a spiritual teacher I wrote about, and she's like, gives you permission to take her ascension workshops. Waiting, like, can I ascend now? Oh, please. Put me on the waiting list.
I wanted to mention Rosalind's comment. I'm not sure if she's seen you or heard you before, but she was the one that says that I think I love her. Then she said, I know I love her now, but she just made a cool comment that I wanted to share with you. She says, I really need to go water my plants, but I don't want to stop listening. You are coming in the car with me. I hope my Bluetooth works in the car. This is all true and it's resonating. I can't stop listening.
Well, I think it's being recorded, so
Yeah, you can always well be on all the
it's
different
nice to have
platforms.
things live because actually I love to do this because I get downloads. What I do now, I think we need to understand is that when I put myself in this position to help others, and anyone can do this, you actually get downloads of frequencies. So the frequencies running through me off the screen to you guys, and everyone's picking it up. And it's like you say, "I'll be that pebble," and then the ripples go out. So I think it's real important for us to I've been getting. I need to really share my voice, and I like being alone. I love shutting the doors to my view and saying bye, everyone. But I've been getting signs that I have to. There's something about I got this too. See, this is helping my throat chakra to.
Is that purple?
This is lapis lazuli. Yeah, it's like a deep cobalt, which is kind of the color of like the will of God. So it's saying, I surrender my will, to the divine will. So let what only, truth, frequency, high frequencies, come through me, which I need to do because I've had a lot of throat, neck, head, crown stuff. I started remembering how many times I've been beheaded. Oh my God. And I have all this trauma, TMJ, and headaches and everything because I've had my head cut off so many times.
Matt says Blavatsky and Bailey were all about blinding with light. So thanks again for confirming my intuition and research.
Well, yeah, and okay, and that's what we're here for. That's the new way we're all like, and that's why I love your show. Like I say, I have women now that I've met, like this one Swedish woman. I have a gal that she's my go-to girl. Hi, Susan. Susan's like a kid. Hi, Susan. And I'll get something, so I'll go to them because I trust their intuition, and I'll confirm it. And I think that's how we are working now as we develop our intuitive muscles. So yes, Matt, I understand what you're saying because I do that. And as we talk, we are validating this information that we've been like told not to talk about, or we're crazy, or it's been outlawed, or we've been muzzled, or we've been probably been out.
Masked up breathing inhibitors.
So it's cool. I like that. It's like creating validation for our experiences because we're learning to trust ourselves again. We've been so traumatized, and our child that knows everything we've been told, as little children, what are you? Who do you think you are to believe that? That's not right. You're crazy, and that when dad comes home at 3:00 in the morning and he's singing, he might hit you because your little child knows how to take care of itself, but you're taught that that's not true. There's nothing wrong with dad, or there's nothing wrong with mom, or that's okay to be touched there. All those little things have to be healed so we can also get our bodies back. We can get back in our bodies because we've been so traumatized and terrorized. Most of us have left our bodies. I mean, seriously, we have serious body problems because we have been also beheaded and stabbed and hurt, and this you carry on in your template from one lifetime or identity to the next. As I start to heal myself, I'm feeling wounds. This guy was working on me the other day going, "You got so many wounds here." I go, "Yeah, some asshole stabbed me through my armor. He found the hole." I was remembering it. It's weird.
Wow. Correa says Elizabeth is giving us permission to be blissful, playful, and flowy. Thank you for this tool.
Oh, good.
Monica is asking, what does she think of Oliver Nino as a spiritual activator? Have you ever heard of Oliver Nino?
No.
Me neither.
Okay.
Lapis Lazuli is my favorite. Elizabeth, you have a nice demeanor too. Where can we find her? So you're on Facebook as Elizabeth Monroy and Peter Monroy.
If they take me up, I don't know, but my website, infinitehuman.com, because every other day I might say one bad word. I mean, not bad word, one one piece of truth. And I've had my Facebook. I have all these Facebook things out there, but I can't. People are still following me, but I can't get in it. So
What about your website? Yeah.
infinitehuman.com. I think infinitehuman.com. Infinite Human. That's me. Infinite Human. And my book is Infinite Human. I'm about to make an audiobook out of it. I've got it in my voice. Get my voice going. But yeah.
Is there like an email address, or is there places to your social media on your website? Like what do people find on the infinitehuman.com?
Hey, just so you can subscribe, and I have blogs. I can send out newsletters. It's a way I can keep track of you. Everything I'm doing. I'm starting to, create some eco communities. I'm starting to create pilgrimages and tours. I'm going to be doing online workshops now. I'm supposed to do a lot of stuff, and I'm probably going to start, doing more like podcasts or something. So I always post it on my website, and I am on Facebook under Peter, my better half, and me, Peter Monroy and Elizabeth Monroy. They've left Peter Monroy alone, but every time Elizabeth Monroy gets on there, but I'm there. InfiniteHuman.com is the best way to find me. I've got a YouTube channel, Infinite Human Productions, and I'm not promoting anything. I don't have commercials on it. When I start feeling like I'm supposed to stream something, I'll just do a video and then put it on there. And I might talk about whatever's, coming up. And I find that the people that, resonate with me, this is going to sound really strange, but guys, we're the same entity. The 144,000 is actually a monadic structure of an uncorporeal, vast, powerful entity that sent projections of itself down into this flash time-space continuum to do this job. And as we ascend, we remember who we are, and we start to come together. That's why I'm always out there talking. If someone says, I'm coming to Casa de Madrigal, I'm like there. Because part of my job is to connect us all, because we all have jobs to do. We're a puzzle. We're a foundation for the new earth. So if you resonate with me, I'm like, part of my job is I'm like a catalyst. So that's why come to my website, because I network, I get us all together, because we all got a job to do together. We're all the same thing. We're all one. Oh, I think some people are going to my website. I hear ding, ding, ding.
Karina says, Jesse, I feel like something big is going to happen. It has to do with the rains, the sun, and each of our bodies doing the most creative thing we can. Something super wonderful and super powerful. Make sure Angeline Joy knows, okay? Something about her lovely jars and the precious images she portrays on them. And then she says, I feel it right now in the gentle breeze from the window. So do you believe something powerful, these energies, like are we going into something really magnificent here in the near future?
Yeah, we are. We're in it. Yes, every day, the more you can slough off anything that's holding you back to 3D, that's holding you back, it's here. It's here. It's here now. It's always an individual thing, but yeah, and the frequencies. Oh my God! I mean, they're holding on so bad with the Kimmy trail, the Kimmy keys, and they're just. But soon it's gonna be just like, bing! They can't hold it anymore. Like Gulliver's Travels, and the little puddings are like trying to hold them down. To the. And then all of a sudden he just like gets up. It's like we're gonna just get up, like you can't hold us anymore, Yeah, I agree. I see that. I feel that.
Matt is asking, I'm just curious, as you're quite knowledgeable as Elizabeth, do you have any Masons, Eastern Star, or Rosicrucians in your family?
Oh yeah, I think my father was a Mason and my grandfather. Yeah.
So is that where some of that knowledge comes from, of what the inner workings
they were high up, but my knowledge comes from, well, I've always been very, studied, I mean, that was what I was all about. But it's all, guys, it's all DNA. It's all DNA. That's why they did the, it's all about DNA. The more you come online, I call it, how everyone's surfing the net, you start to surf the infinite. So it's all at your fingertips. So, what I do when I want to know something is I say, I'm confused about this. I've had to learn so much lately. And, you could say, wow, I'm so intelligent, but it's not my brain that's intelligent. It's just that I'm accessing
tapping in. You're
the
tapping into
multiverse.
this.
I need to know something, and it comes, and I can understand. I've studied this stuff for so long, I couldn't get it, but now all of a sudden, as you heal and you do the activations, I'm always in the sun. I'm always doing, kind of activations. I'm always healing my child, my past. I just healed a lot this week because I like to, when I work with people, I do my own healing too. So healing and letting those frequencies run in, it's, you have a limitless library that you don't have to get your information from parallel from people in the physical. They don't know. I mean, you go to the source. That's all my book is about. Go to the source. If you want to know something, not the source, go to infinite source. Because, Elon Musk's idea of source might be different than, AI source. So
Source code.
yeah, I would say infinite source, so.
Great. So you said you're planning on getting some land there and growing some olive trees. Is that kind of
No,
what
well,
you're?
I don't know yet. I haven't been able to get land. It's been the strangest thing, but yeah, I've been looking at some land here. Like they have like 1,000 olive trees, and a white well and all this. I mean, stuff that I'd like to. I feel like I'm a guardian, and I need to get this and bring it back. But I also wanted to talk a lot about. I talked to some of the people at the New Earth in Bacalar, and I think. I really enjoyed meeting Sasha. He invited me for Christmas. I thought, I didn't think I would be in Mexico, first of all. I really had no plans to go there whatsoever. Yeah, Mexico was not on my agenda. I loved Sicily. I was happy here, And then my mother was about to pass, and I knew, and I was talking to one of my go-to gals, Susan, who's an excellent remote viewer. I mean, you could pass her here and she'd say, oh, there's a picture of, above you. And so she helps me sometimes to get validation. And she's like, okay, yes, I see you with your mother. And now I see you in the jungle. And now I see you driving. I see these huts. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait. No, not there. Don't go there. It's like, yeah, and these huts and these bamboo. I'm like, where? And she goes, I go, are you near Cuba? And she goes, no, it's over. I think it's Mexico. And then, she sees things. So I'm looking on the map and I'm going, oh no, I'm supposed to go to the Yucatan. So sure enough, I buy a ticket. I'm down there, driving around me with the, like macheting through the jungle, hitting those tope, I'm going, what am I here for? And actually got lost and just got off and saw this property on the beach, and I said, this is it. And then a realtor showed it to me the next day, and she said, this is yours. I said, yeah, I was here yesterday. So I felt like I was supposed to buy some property, and then I got I knew Sasha from you, but also Sasha's like, have you ever heard that Kevin Bacon 30 degrees to, how everyone knows? I mean, so I knew Sasha
3 degrees of separation
or whatever. No, but he, like everybody I know knows him, because he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. So there's a friend of mine from Kentucky had him come do something there, and then he interviewed a family that I worked with who the Italian government took their children from him, and so I had asked about the newer thing, and while I was there, they said, "Oh, hi." They sent me a message. They said, "Would you like to see it?" I said, well, "Yeah," because Mahawal, where I was just like half an hour from where those guys are doing their thing. So I went there and I thought, okay, I don't, we'll see about Sasha. You hear all these rumors and stuff, and I'm in different communities, and I thought, well, let's see, I'll save my opinion. But when I went there, it was like, I mean, I didn't even notice him. He just kind of came up from behind, and very humble, very, gentle, kind, very, kind soul. And then, he sat down, he just stopped, listened to me, and, Kiki sat beside him, so I knew he was a good guy. And just we had a really nice talk. He was very interested, in my journey, and then he invited me to come for Christmas, which was really nice because black sheep of the family. I haven't had Kiki and I have had Christmas alone for the past 5 years, and I don't even think about Christmas anymore. It was so nice to go to a place, and I really met people like women who were homeschooling, and there was Mexicans, the lawyers just working with there, Americans, Canadians, nice people that he's magnetizing there. So and I really liked his vision, so I feel like that is a real important thing of the future, that we all need to be, if we're called, creating these, I would almost call them, well, I'd call them the true Melchizedek cloister communities of Christos beings who are going to hold the higher frequencies in these areas and guard the planet, be the guardians of the planet. And there'll be places where we can come together for restoring our templates, healing, for education, teaching the true science, true ascension mechanics, all these things, unschooling the future generations, creating art, and I will say, entertainment, film, theater, happenings, ceremonies, just restoring ourselves back. And I think those will be the vanguards, and then they'll pull the rest of and then if you're in a city or wherever, but that'll help raise the frequencies everywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So what's next for you then, now that you're back in Italy? Unsure about the property. Are you staying there for a while? Like, what's your calling? Are you just an open, vessel, and wherever you're called, that's the way you're going to go?
I'm doing Italy and the Yucatan. I'll be back there in November, and I'll probably do something in that area. Definitely, I've got a lot of stuff there, and that I'll be working there and working here in Europe. Two sides, because I feel like England too. I have a lot of there's just certain tribe family that I'm, we're coming together for a job, and a lot of what I want to do is I think I'm going to start bringing back, because I had the New Consciousness Renaissance, which was like a film school for conscious media before the pandemic, and I just actually walked away from it because the students that were coming were not conscious. I was trying to create conscious media with kids that were like, where's the red camera? Or they were doing like horror films and stuff. So I said, no, I can't do that until I got to bring people up to the level where they have consciousness, and then we can create media and art and stories, because I love writing, and I have all these screenplays, and I've tried to do it with in Los Angeles. You can't, it's, the world has to get to a place, and we're in the first phase where the new earth, we have to really create a new earth, and we have to create consciousness and a renaissance of consciousness, so we can I mean, it's an exciting time, but we have to do everything different, guys. We need sustainable housing. We need, energy, free energy sources. We need, unschooled, we need communities that are gregarian and in harmony with nature. We need, people that are healed, that are holy, that are holding the high frequencies and have their restored templates. And then we can add the art and the culture, the creme de la creme that makes a society. So I'll be doing that.
That's awesome. Sounds like you got a plan.
Oh, yeah. So
this is a plan. This is kind of where you're seeing your life, go.
well, like I said, I just work here. I never know what I'm going to be doing. I trying to figure out finances right now because I'm funded, but now I've got to figure out how to get to them because the banking community. I'll just be honest. I had my bank in Italy say I have banks all over the place now, but my bank said the other day, we're going to close your account. I said, why? They said, well, you have unusual activity. I said, what? Well, you're taking too much cash out. So watch out, guys. We've got to start getting. Everything's shifting. We have to be wise. We have to, for a while we're going to have, I call it like driving in Italy. You have to see where the holes open, so a lot of that, investing in because I feel like I'm a custodian of the funds and, I have a nonprofit that I set up. So we have to be, we have to choose where we're investing not only our money but our energy, our time. We can't just give it to people who parasite off us anymore. We have to extract ourselves from these fallen systems. It's crucial right now, really crucial.
So do you drive a car when you're in Italy and in
I was
Europe?
gonna do a car. Drive a car with my logos on it, running the 3 triphone frequencies with my infinite human logos on it.
You have a new car.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
it's great. I was driving a car that cost €500 for like 2 years. It would break down every other day.
Wow. We have an apartment in Czechoslovakia in Bratislava in the Slovak. And we had a car there, that every time that, the family went there, we were able to drive. And when I was there, with my mom driving, it was pretty wild because it was the very first time that I ever would pass someone on the road, on the highway, but I'd have to be looking in my rear view mirror because you never know if someone's coming at you like 180 or something. So as you're, this car wasn't the fastest of cars. So as I'm putting along, passing somebody, I'm glued to my rear view mirror to make sure someone isn't coming because those roads and the way people drive are quite wild there in Europe.
So you still have family in Slovakia? So
yeah.
Okay, I knew you were from. Yeah, cool. That's cool. That's great. Yeah, I think that's named the game nowadays. You want to. One of the gals that came, she had getting passports now. It's getting really hard in America. She had to go through hell and back to get a passport. So I would just say, passports are freedom. You want to get international. They don't want you to be international. You want to, you just want to make some repositioning yourself, guys, out of the, because they want to keep everyone, in their little categories. So, just some heads up about practical stuff, I would say, but it's all good.
That stuff should be freeing soon. We should be, should we, or is the system, the matrix still going to be, on monitoring everyone, or are we soon going to be able to be free from this, system?
I keep saying it's an inside job. It's you. You're a universe. One person, you could be right beside one person that's free and everything's fine, and the other person's miserable. It's your own holographic template. You create your reality. Really, really, you do. You are simply, everything is really just a projection of where you're at in terms of frequencies. High flash frequencies, you're up with source, you're aligned with source, you're blissful, you're abundant, you're powerful, so you got to stop looking outside of it's everything else is an illusion, so when you can take total and complete responsibility for your life, you really have to, because that's how you get out of the victim. Oh no, the cabal. Oh, when I can I ascend yet? So you know what I'm saying, and then ask for help. I don't know what to do. I want another job. I want to get out of my city. I want to help. Show me what to do, and then take it. A lot of people I've had people say, I want to get out of here. And someone says, I got a farm you can go live in. No, I don't know if I really want to, it's like, you got to take it.
Yeah, the doors open up. There's doors are always opening and closing. It just all depends on which ones you want to go through.
You gotta be flexible. You've got to say, okay, I might have to hang my clothes on clothespins.
Matt's got another question, or two or three. He says, what does New Earth, Ascension, and 5D mean?
Okay, so this is the true galactic history. Now, what happened was before the fall, we've fallen a lot. Okay, but we were on, the Earth was called Tara, like the Gone with the Wind, Tara. And due to the fall of angelics, a whole lot of stuff, what's going on, just like now, there's so much stuff going on, like we got the Trump and this and the Russian and the blah blah, but and there was a lot of AI manipulation that caused us, and Maureen, that caused the poles to shift, but we were actually ripped through a black hole into, there's 5 universes in our time vector. So we were pulled into the lowest universe, first universe, which we are now back. We're returning to our true place. It was horrible. We were pulled through. We were, imploded, and we became our solar system. So like Venus, Pluto, all that's part of what was originally Tara. And we came into this, this fallen universe. Now, that was not supposed to happen. That was all AI engineered. That's not part of our true timeline. Our true timeline was we were supposed to continue and evolve into Gaia. You didn't hear we're talking about Gaia. Tara is fifth dimension. Now we've got 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. That's a whole other thing, But the 5th dimension is when you get to the point where time's much more elastic, where there's unity consciousness, where there's not this duality, where there's not the fall. There's still fallen and jugs you have to always deal with, but it's where we were meant to be on the organic timeline, which then would continue to evolve to Gaia and onward and upward. But it was interrupted. We were pulled out. And so that's the course correction of ascension, or I would say resetting to divine source, returning to pre-fall Tara, where we're supposed to be. And when we were there, we were in our true bodies, which were our Crystalla bodies. I think that explains it.
Awesome. So we're coming up to our time. Is there anything that maybe you we haven't talked about that maybe you wanted to share with us here today?
Oh, good. We're almost out. No, but thank you. I had so much fun. I always enjoy talking to you. And my website, infinitehuman.com, subscribe. I have blogs on there, whatever I'm doing. I think I'm going to be, a lot of people who couldn't come on the pilgrimage wanted me to do a cyber one. So I'm going to try to create like a cyber pilgrimage, for, and it's not a lot of money, but it's just something. What I'm trying to do is get us all connected. So it's a way we can all get like on I don't like Zoom, but a Zoom kind of thing, and share and talk and meet people. So just sign up, and then we'll be a nice little, I call you my infinite human family. So if I resonate, please join my infinite human family on my website. That's the best way. So thanks for all the questions, guys. Matt, thank you, and Korean, and Nicola. I love her. I love Nicole.
She was so happy to see
Oh,
that you're
she's
coming.
sweetie. She's such a sweetie. She's so awake and aware. I love to hear her take on things. Again, she's another one of my go-to gems. But that's the most precious thing. That's more precious to me than money. Is people that have keen awareness that can, bing, 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 give you feedback and confirmation. So. All right. And you guys, you're so precious. And hi to Angeline. She's doing amazing work. I love her stuff about getting back in the body. That looks so cool. And she looks, you guys look really good, though. I know everyone's been through a lot, but you look really good. And I know your health has been challenging, but I feel like you look good to me. Your template, you look like you're good to go. You feel good?
Yeah, I feel really good. I've been doing lots. A few days ago, I had to go get some spring water, which, lifting these 15-liter jugs. And then the day after, I spent, 8 or 9 hours, making dog food for Hawk for the next 65 days, making food. And then yesterday, I was doing some gardening. So it's great to be getting and doing stuff. So I just
did it.
yeah, and so that makes me happy to be on, and actually doing things on my own and stuff again, because it's a little bit scary when they cut off your legs, and
Oh my God.
to know that you're going to be okay, and I feel like I'm going to be okay. So that makes me really happy to to see what's I'm going to be able to enjoy in this next phase of life.
Well, I appreciate you both so much. So much. You've done so much. You're of so much service and so much love. You can just feel the authenticness and the love and the caring that comes from you and everything you do and everything you guys touch. So great. I'm so honored to serve with
Well,
you.
bless you. We send our love to you. And, one day we're all going to be able to meet and be able to hug each other for real. So,
I think we're going to do it we'll, in the Yucatan. That's a great place to come together,
yeah, we'll see. I'm not, so keen on going there anymore, but we'll
No,
see.
no.
Yeah, some things happen. So,
Well, it's
you
a
know,
dirty place too. I mean, dark and light. There's a lot of darkness too. So, but Oh, anyway, it'll work out. We'll
we'll,
just know.
we'll figure it out,
Yeah.
one way or another. So awesome. Well, thanks everybody for all your likes, comments, heart shares, and stars. We appreciate all of your love and support. Elizabeth, may the source be with you. And everybody else, may the source be with you all. We've got another interview today with Dr. Kent Hovind. A lot of people know him, but he's been on a lot of clips where people are taking his debates about time and space, and he debates people that believe in the evolution theory. He's got a email address called whackanatheist something.com, so it's going to be a very fascinating interview. He's a brilliant guy, and I'm really excited to be able to pick his brain. Elizabeth just dropped off, so we'll watch the replay. Awesome. Let's just have a wonderful day. Another 4 hours, I believe it's 2. It's in about 4 hours we start with our next missing link. So it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain, or 5 p.m. Pacific time, is when this interview starts today. All of our interviews are posted on our Facebook page. So if you're, thanks everybody that's watching on LinkedIn, on our YouTube. We just started back on an alternate YouTube channel that we have just to get out to more people. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, and we're live on Rumble right now on all these different places. Then we get uploaded to BitChute, Telegram, Odyssey, Dollar Vigilante TV. And we're just trying to get all the best information that we can, talk to great people like this, and hopefully if you can find one or two or even more little tidbits that help you along your journey, that educate you in any way, then we're doing our job here. So love y'all, and we'll see you next time we see you. back on The Missing Link. I'm your host, Jesse Howell, and may the